Good morning. Welcome to Slurve. We got an early slate today, which is not my favorite thing in the world. But hey, I've got some quick cash game cornerstones for you today. It's June 22nd, and I'm pretty sure it's Wednesday. So on that note, Adam is flying today, so I got a little bit of pitching advice in my video for cash, and Max has got it in his for GPP. For me, it's pretty straightforward. In cash this morning, we got Thor, who missed his start yesterday, got it pushed back a day. Just make sure that he is starting and there's no, injury concern there because we're not really sure what happened. At least I'm not right now. He's 13.0 on DK, so expensive but perfectly reasonable for a guy of his talent. And 10.9 on FanDuel, which is underpriced in my opinion. And then on DK for starting pitcher 2, we got two guys that I am considering. Danny Duffy against the Mets at 7.4, who has been pretty darn good, and the Mets have been rolling out kind of a AAA class lineup lately, so keep an eye on that. And then Lance McCullers, who's also been pretty good, and the Angels just really pretty much suck outside of Mike Trout. He's 8.2. So one of those two guys I think will make a nice starting pitcher 2 for you to pair with Noah Syndergaard. There's two guys I want to look at catcher today, and that is Russell Martin. The Blue Jays are getting hot finally, and they get Robbie Ray at home, who's not very good against righties. Roger Center's good for righties. Martin is 3.6 on DK and 3.1 on FanDuel, perfectly reasonable on both sites. And then also Brian McCann at home against John Gray. And, Gray as a pitcher I really like, but lefties in Yankee Stadium I think kind of outweighs that, especially when he's 3.1 on DK and 3.3 on FanDuel, which is just like a really cheap price for Brian McCann. First base, going back to Toronto, we got E5, Edwin Encarnacion against Robbie Ray. Mentioned Ray struggles with righties. E5 is appropriately expensive on DK at 5.2, but I don't think it should be a problem if you're playing, an 7 to 8K second pitcher on DK. He's 4.3 on FanDuel, which you can definitely fit in. If you absolutely need the savings, I like Justin Bour against John Gant for 3.6 on DK. Apparently FanDuel doesn't have that game on its slate. It's kind of the middle of the day game, so just play E5 there. But Bour, I think, has a nice chance to do some damage to John Gant, who's not particularly good. He was great for me last night, and I really like Chris Coughlin again to do some damage, to score some fantasy points against Michael Wacha, who's not that great a pitcher in my opinion. He is only 2.5 on DK still. It's totally, kind of a punt play, but he was leading off yesterday. Leading off for 2.5 in cash is like almost must play in my opinion. If he's leading off again today, so I'm a little tired, then that's definitely a good spot to get him for that price. Unfortunately, he's not a second baseman on FanDuel. So we can't play him there and that. But I also like DJ LeMahieu, who also did nicely for me yesterday against CC Sabathia, who has been, kind of having a resurgence. But I still like several Rockies today, particularly the righties, to take CC for a ride. LeMahieu is 3.9 on DK and 3.3 on FanDuel. Especially on FanDuel, just no problem fitting him in there. And, Coughlin at 2.5 should make some nice room for any of the other expensive plays. It's considerably less attractive to give up a third base spot for Chris Coughlin, but you can do that on FanDuel. It's not a horrible choice. He's only 2.4 there, so, nice price for the savings. But then we also got Josh Donaldson against Robbie Ray, who is just really that's a matchup that I'm kind of excited for. These these Blue Jays righties against Robbie Ray, should be some fireworks there. He's 5.5 on DK, much like E5. He is priced up for that matchup. He's 4.5 on FanDuel, which is still expensive. But on DK, I really like Nolan Arenado against CC. I mentioned that I like Rockies righties in general. And Arenado is no different, especially since he's 3.7 on DK, which is cheaper than LeMahieu, I just realized, which really just doesn't make sense. But yeah, 3.7 on DK, 3.9 on FanDuel. Don't mind him on either side at that price, but just absolutely love him on DK. I'm not sure what's going on with DK's pricing of Carlos Correa lately, but you know, you should just lock him in, especially if you're playing in 50-50s and stuff, because people will have him. He was like 40% owned even in GPP last night. And his price is lower somehow. I mean, he's taken on Shoemaker, who's been just really good this season, much to, you know, I didn't see it coming, and it's a little frustrating to me, but that's okay. But I still like Correa at that price. 3.6 on DK, 4.1 on FanDuel is a little bit harder to justify. But then we also got Trevor Story underpriced on both sites against CC, 3.9 on DK. I would probably just go with Correa there. Maybe if you're stacking Rockies, I could see going with Story. But he's 3.0 on FanDuel. It's just stupid cheap. Speaking of stupid cheap, we got Ryan Rayburn also against CC. Now, be aware when you're taking Rayburn, it's probably only getting a few at-bats. There, 3 probably, maybe less if they drive CC out fast, because he's pretty much exclusively a lefty hitter, and they like to pinch hit him out in that case. But he's only 2.8 on DK, so I feel like that price kind of factors that in. He's 3.0 on FanDuel, which I like a lot less. Then I got a couple pairs of teammates, Carrera and Saunders, who I mentioned yesterday, and you know, I don't think either of them had a very good game, to be honest, but I'm going back to that well. 3.1 on DK for Carrera is just really, really cheap, especially if he's leading off again for the Blue Jays. He's 3.3 on FanDuel. Saunders is 4.6, which is kind of hard to justify on DK, even though he's on fire and he absolutely mashes lefties. But Ray is pretty good against lefties. It's tough to balance that. But he's only 3.9 on FanDuel, which is much easier, kind of accounts for that uncertainty a lot more. And then I also like Gardner and Beltran, going back to that Yankees-Rockies game against John Gray. Is much worse against lefties than he is against righties, I think. I'm not going to lie, I didn't look up his splits. But I like the plays. You can look up his splits if you're concerned about that. Gray is a good pitcher at Yankee Stadium, so friendly to lefties. These guys, especially Beltran, have been having such a good season. 3.3 for Gardner on DK. Love him there at that price. 3.7 on FanDuel. Meh. You know. I like Beltran a lot on both sites. 3.9 on DK. It's a little bit, you know, if I had to choose, I'd go Gardner. And he's 3.8 on FanDuel. So there, if I had to choose, I'd go Beltran. That's it for your early slate cash game cornerstones. Check out Max's video. He's doing the early slate GPP stuff. Actually, his video probably covers all day. But I will have another video later covering the late slate, along with our rundown, our daily Dong Finder article, and yes, today is Wednesday, so later today at 5 Eastern, we've got an expert chat for the late slate, which is awesome. I always look forward to the expert chats. Thanks for watching. I am Steve. This is Slurv. It's been your Cash Game Cornerstones for Wednesday, June 22nd. Good luck today, guys.